Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Life Stories. I'm really pleased today to introduce to our guest speaker, Jeanel Carlson. Jeanel is the co-founder of Oak Bloom Marketing. Oak Bloom Marketing is a strategic marketing agency that helps startups build magnetic brands and stories that land with customers and investors. With more than 25 years of B2B tech and consumer experience, Jeanel has worked with leading brands from Apple's Claris to NCR and HackerOne. She has a proven track record of developing strategic plans, crafting impactful brand content and messaging, creating campaigns, and launching products with measurable results. So, Jeanel, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here. How are you?
Hi, Jesus. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, yeah. And so we're going to start with your story. As you know, this is called Real Life Stories for a reason. So we want to know your full story since when you started, before you started leading teams, to where you are today as a co-founder of a marketing agency. So what can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, starting with the origin, I will go way back because I really feel our family origin has a lot of impact of how we could transform our lives. So when I look back at my family, our origins, we are a Finnish background, and a cultural attribute of our Finnish family was sisu. And sisu is a Finnish word that means really strength of will and perseverance. So this is something that my dad is like, I know this girl has sisu, because when I was a little kid, I was the youngest one in the neighborhood with a little two-wheeled bike, two-wheeled bike with the training wheels, and everybody made fun of me. And I was determined that I was going to learn how to ride this. And I was much younger, I think, than most of the kids in terms of learning how to do it.
Right.
And it was such a goal of mine that I spent hours falling and sweating. And I think I had scrapes, and my parents were begging me to quit, but I couldn't because I needed to get this thing done. And that's when I knew that, perseverance does pay off. When you kind of look back, that was the pivotal moment, that just going all into something and having grit and determination can
Yeah.
help you go very far. So I think that CISO mindset made me a learner and achiever in my career. And I did a lot and made goals and accomplished them, from university degrees to studying abroad, learning another language. Hablo un poquito español.
Oh, I like that.
In my corporate career, working with companies like Apple, and I even became a certified yoga instructor. So I think this growth and expansion mindset, we all have it, but just knowing where it came from can help you understand your origin.
100%. Yeah. Self-awareness is always so important. So yeah, no, happy to you bring that up. So Janelle, and I mean, you have a lot of stories. I mean, we spoke about this before, but I'm pretty sure you want to tell us a story here that got you to where you are now. You're an entrepreneur. I mean, but you were not always that. You started in corporate, you started growing, and up to a point where you decided to jump into entrepreneurship, have your own company. So, what story can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had a very, I was grateful for the corporate career I had. I had a lot of amazing experiences in corporate America in all kinds of industries, and mainly B2B tech. Uh, but what really happened, I had a crossroads, and, in my growth mindset too, I started to see, typical setbacks as more as setups for what's next. So in this fall of 2023, I was at a crossroads in my corporate world, and I had an opportunity to continue down the same corporate path, but I wasn't really feeling fulfilled by that path anymore, and felt like I was trying to make changes internally that nothing was really going to change.
Right.
So that was a time where I had to sit back and really decide. And I asked myself, or I really thought to myself, well, I guess if you can't change the sandbox, perhaps it's time to build your own. And that's how Oak Bloom Marketing kind of came to fruition. My co-founder and I got together and talked about our, real frustrations within the corporate world, and decided that this is an opportunity for us to partner and break barriers. We
So,
want to help our clients succeed, but we also have a bigger mission in breaking barriers for women. There's a full story that I wrote in my blog on Open Marketing that kind of talks about this, but I'll give you the short story version
yeah,
of why it's so passionate for us. We did some research and found that 2/3 of U.S. marketers or U.S. marketing and advertising agencies identify as female. So women are doing the work. But we also found another stat that less than 1% of North American agencies are actually owned by women. I mean,
yeah.
1%. That is so like
Eh,
dismal and painful. Like every time I say it, I feel kind of physically ill.
yeah. No, yeah. I think, the status is so overwhelming, it's, really storytelling. So I'm pretty sure that played a role at the time, to decide to, found this company and, that became your mission, right?
Exactly. So we said this is an opportunity for us to break barriers and really help women kind of show up and lead in marketing with ourselves.
Right.
And ideally, like our first clients have been female founders. It's just kind of organically happening that way. We are, of course, very happy to work with all people. This mission and impact is really resonating, and we like as a values level really want to uplift others, and success is part of that, but that means like uplifting everybody along the way.
Right. No, exactly. No, I love that. And so I'm pretty sure, you learned a lot of, things from this experience. So we have a lot of our listeners that are in that situation, that they feel stuck. They're in corporate, they're trying to grow, they keep pushing always the same ceiling, and the ceiling is not moving anywhere. So what would you recommend to them? I mean, some of them may be called for this, some of them not, but in general, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, well, when I started on this path, I was really having to dig into my why, like, why do I want this? And it became this bigger mission for me of like making an impact and breaking barriers. Of course, we both have, like my co-founder and I have the skills and experience to make a difference in a company, but we want to do that while kind of leveling up. So
Right.
people in general are evolving and changing, and things can happen at different points in time that you might be in a situation with family needs or whatever. Like you have to really look at what's your priority and your why in those moments. And if you about the financial aspect, you might have to stick with the corporate route because entrepreneurship has a runway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like do this real introspection to know where you're at. But I also feel like there is opportunity for all of us to start reframing the way we view things in the world. Generally, we're learning and evolving beings, but we need to kind of reframe what success and failure is. There is really only learning and growing, and you can do that in different aspects. And the points in time will lead you onto what your next thing is based on that introspection.
Yeah, no,
So
I love that concept, that we define success and failure, and what success and failure may mean for one may not be the same for another one. So in your journey, you know, what could help others, in terms of defining success and failure? What do you think it's a good mindset to have in terms of that, to be able to, take such an, undertaking, like founding your own company?
well, self-awareness, I think, is key for everything. Like you kind of got to know yourself and what your real passions and goals and priorities are. This reframing of success and failure too. I think also my yoga background is much more into mind, body, spirit, and trying to find balance. So for
Right.
me, the key to success is if I don't have a good balance in like going with life, then I'm going to be taken down. You
Right.
know, if we don't see, if we always see as up as good and down as bad too, we're going to be disappointed, right?
No,
So it's
yeah,
going with the flow a bit more, which is very anti-US culture in a lot of ways, because we're so over pushed to succeed and succeed and succeed that we kind of lose sight that down doesn't mean bad and doesn't mean failures. You're still learning. There's still success in the down if you just
exactly.
uh,
No, no, I love that approach. I think, yeah, if I try to, recall, normally the best successes come after the worst failures, right? And it's what lets you redefine, calm down, try to plan something, even, when it may be in a very bad situation. So I think it's awesome, and there is a lot of people that are listening to us that are probably under, going through a layoff or some setbacks at work, or, like, as we said before, pushing the same ceiling over and over. So let that not deter you, right? And maybe you have to think outside the box, you know?
correct. Yeah.
So,
And there also is kind of this divine timing too. It's okay sometimes to say, I have bigger vision for myself, but where I'm at right now requires this. So I'm going to keep my day job or I'm going to do this. But I know in my mind that someday there's something bigger for me, or I'm going to do something different, or wherever you're at is where you're at and it's okay. Like,
yeah,
so I just think we have to be reframing where we're at and more compassionate with ourselves and others in that process.
I love it. I love it. Is there any final words you're going to say to people that are in that situation? I mean, any final piece of advice?
Yeah, I mean, I really do feel, that the setbacks are setups for something more. And sometimes you have to go through a grieving process if you are going through a setback, because if you were unaware that this thing was going to happen to you and it kind of took you down, like maybe it's okay to just be processing that for a bit. But gently with yourself, kind of keep doing the things that will fulfill you and help you grow.
Well, really
Mhm.
appreciate this. This was awesome, Janelle. Thank you. So, for all the people that want to know more about yourself and more about Oakbloom marketing, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, go to our website, oakbloommarketing.com.
Just
It's
type it in.
yes, exactly. It's exactly how it sounds, Oak Bloom Marketing. And
Awesome.
connect with us there. We have a blog you can subscribe to. We actually just launched a new free resource of the ebook, which is the 10 marketing strategies for startup success. So we help startups build their magnetic brands and stories that land with customers and investors. And this is kind of like a do it yourself guide of getting you started. And of course, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, we're on these different platforms. We love to connect and stay,
Awesome.
in touch. Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. And you will share all those links for
Perfect.
everyone who received the newsletter, and for the people that watch us on YouTube or any other platform. We'll share all those links so they can get in touch with Upload Marketing and with Janelle. So, Janelle, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear more of your real life stories from other folks out there.
Thank you. Will do, of course. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Okay, you too.